When we look at the pitfalls of franchising, there are pitfalls, especially for people who believe that this is going to be great, this is going to be easy. You must see lots of hopefuls come to you and looking for funding, and then leave with a tear in their eye when you say no. And one of the most common questions I'm asked whenever I talk about franchising on the radio is, where can I get funding? Why won't the banks help me? Why don't you? Bad people.
We, funny enough, help a number of people. I think it always is about how financially fit are you, or what we call credit fit are you. What are those things that you're doing? So we see a number of people, so peer-to-peer lending has become quite popular, not as much in our country where people borrow money from family or they borrow money from a partner. And what then tends to happen is that when that doesn't work out, then they're coming to the bank. But at that stage, we are either asking for financials if they've had any, but if they haven't had any, we are asking for collateral. So if you haven't done your homework, it becomes so much harder to try and say what kind of funding can you get, especially because, we've got funding vehicles like the enterprise development. So we do help businesses that don't have the historical factors that we're looking for, like collateral or even financials, so that we can start them up and have them get their own business.
But would it be easy if I came to you and I said, Ethel, I want to start Bruce's nail bar, because everybody wants some of that, or I've got a franchise opportunity with a sorbet. You're more likely to provide me with the funding for a sorbet than you are for my very adventurous startup, Bruce's Nail Bar.
Well, it's two things, Bruce. Bruce's Nail Bar, people tend to shy away from it inherently.
I wouldn't blame them.
and it's quite simply because when you start with a brand like Sorbet, it already has a reputation. They already will back you up with marketing, and you can go to other franchisees and spend time with them and actually find out if this is something that you want to do, because one of the pitfalls, talking about pitfalls, is the mismatch of individuals. So you own a sorbet, but you don't really like people. You like to be in the background. That's not going to work out for you, and you don't want to find out when you are already owning a sorbet. You want to spend the time with the people that already own sorbets, so that you see what kind of hard work is involved in making it successful.
One of the biggest business failings, and Pavlo Fatidis tells us this, is people who go, oh, I love people, I'm going to start a restaurant. And then they realize, one, they don't like food that much, and they certainly don't like people, especially people who go to restaurants. How do you weed out people you believe will be successful franchisees versus those you go, you know what, please don't put yourself and me through this a bad experience?
99% of our franchisees, if not all of them, have actually been guests of ours to start with. And that's a criteria that we really like, because they've experienced the whole service philosophy themselves as a guest, and they love it so much that they now want to go in and own the store. And that's always a fantastic sort of introduction to us. And we like those people. And I think that's why we've had a very low turnover of franchisees. They're very passionate about what they do. I think passion in this business, particularly in the service industry, has got to be 80% of the choice, and 20% is everything else.
But you've got to match the brand. What's the hardest conversation you've had with somebody who's been to one of your stores and says, I just love it, I must have one? Yeah. And you've turned them down.
Yeah, sometimes, the personality, as you were saying, Ethel was saying, is just not right. They say, woman who doesn't smile should not open shop.
Are all your franchisees women?
Just about. Yeah, we do have a couple of men. People out there sometimes they say, I'm really happy in my job, and I say, well, if you're happy, tell your face.